Next, we'll turn to the subject of open space preservation. Here to talk about this is Wake County's foremost expert on all things environmental, especially open space, Mr. Sig Hutchinson.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Sig is the longtime chairman of the county's Open Space and Parks Advisory Committee and was chosen as the county's Volunteer of the Year in 2005 for his efforts in this cause. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Let's start by talking about the open space program as it exists now. What are we accomplishing?
Well, Commissioner, we have accomplished a great deal. Interestingly enough, our program is only 7 years old. It started a little bit before 2000 when the commissioners felt with all the growth that was going on in Wake County that something needed to be done to preserve the most important natural areas. At that point, a task force was appointed, and the commissioners agreed to put on the ballot in 2000 a $15 million bond to begin to preserve open space. Shortly after that bond was approved, the county went about doing a comprehensive green print, the first green print in the history of the county, where all 12 municipalities, in coordination with the county, created a mosaic of the most important natural areas in Wake County that we needed to preserve. From that mosaic, we then went about identifying the most important natural areas that we needed to preserve. We worked in partnership with our municipal partners to allow them to identify properties that were important to them. And over the last 7 years, we have acquired over 3,500 acres specifically for water quality, for preserving the most important natural areas in our county, and for that matter, air quality as well.
We've mentioned earlier that Wake County is growing about 98 people a day, 35,000 people a year. What kind of pressure does that put on our open space program?
Well, Commissioner, that's a great question. When we went to the voters in 2004, as you remember, what we talked about then was that we were having 60 new people a day moving into our county. That has now risen to 98, close to 100 new people. When we came to you in 2004, we talked about losing 1 acre an hour of open space to development. Now that number is up to 1.5 acres, 1.5 acres an hour, 13,000 acres a year, basically the equivalent of an Umstead State Park we're losing to development. Development's a very good thing, and I think we all agree that we need that type of economic development for our county. But as a result of how quickly we are growing, it puts a huge demand on our natural resources and a true sense of urgency that we need to grab the amount of open space that we can right now.
I have seen that the highest priority for our open space program is placed on maintaining and improving the quality and quantity of drinking water.
Absolutely.
Can you tell us about how that plays into the open space program as well?
I'm so glad that you said maintaining and improving the water quality of Wake County, which is the number one issue that we're looking for in our open space program. As I mentioned earlier, we did a comprehensive green print in 2000 to identify those most important natural areas. But areas such as floodplains, such as stream buffers, such as watersheds, priority watersheds, have all been identified, and we are actively acquiring lands in each one of those areas to preserve that water quality. Commissioner, it also deserves to be said that there is an oversight citizen committee that serves as members of the Open Space and Parks Advisory Committee for Wake County. We've been, as you know, we've been actively involved since 2000 looking over this process. We're very seasoned. We've been doing this a very long time. We have a very talented staff, and actually we have a rating system for every land acquisition project that comes before us in terms of the water quality impact that it will have on our county. It's given a certain number rating that we can then use to make our decisions about whether we will send something to the commissioners for approval for that acquisition.
I've also noticed that there's other people involved besides just the county and the municipalities. Part of that rating system, I guess, is to help us qualify for other funds to purchase open space as well?
Well, that's such a great point. You know, many times I say, like in the game of Monopoly, you know, if you don't have any money at the table, you really can't even be at the table. And so one of the real values of our program is how we've been able to leverage additional dollars. Of this 3,500 acres that we've acquired since 2000, The county has spent about $40 million, but on a total, we've been able to acquire over $60 million in open space preservation. Over $20 million we have been able to get from other partners, including our municipal partners that we'll be talking about soon. Also, the Clean Water Management Trust Fund and the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund. So those are state dollars. Federal dollars have also been appropriated to this type of effort. So it's very exciting to see how this effort and these dollars attract even more dollars to our effort. One last thing that deserves to be said is some of our gracious landowners who have agreed to allow their land to be acquired, of which all of our land is done strictly on a voluntary basis. No land is done through any type of condemnation means. Everything's voluntary.
And all of our open space properties are accessible to the public. I mean, that is a key component as we purchase these products, to make sure that the citizens of Wake County who are paying for this have access to those properties through trails and
greenways.
It's many beautiful properties.
Right. Another big piece of this is our partnerships, and it deserves to be said that one of the most exciting parts of our program is our partnership with our 12 municipal partners. You know, we have acquired land with most of our partners: Raleigh, Cary, Wake Forest, Apex, Garner, Holly Springs, Wendell. All of these municipalities have been able to access our open space funds. Interestingly enough, I was actually out with Mayor Jones of Wake Forest talking about a project that they are currently involved with that use some of our open space funds.
That is certainly beautiful land, a great purchase for our open space program.
Right.
And it's also a great partnership.
Right.
We've had open space bonds previously, as we talked about. We're asking the voters for another $50 million October this year. What will those funds go toward?
Well, for us, on the Open Space and Parks Advisory Committee, we see this as a great opportunity to go back to the voters and educate them on all the great things that we've done in the past. The 3,500 acres, over 60 million of open space preservation, working towards a goal of 30% preserved open space in our county. What we want to tell the voters is to show them the track record of success that we've done. We want to invite them, Commissioner, to go to the website, the Wake County website, for more information about the tracts that we have acquired so far, and just let the voters know that we will continue our program into the future, recognizing the stress that is upon fortunately, the stress that is upon our county because of all this growth, to continue to preserve and improve the water and air quality and to preserve our most important natural resources here in Wake County.
One of the highlights of my 2 years of being chairman was being able to go to Washington and receive the Trust for Public Lands National Award recognizing our open space program. Nationally, we're receiving recognitions, especially for our emphasis on drinking water protection. And you've done a great job. All the members of the committee have done a great job, and look forward to getting funds to continue this in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.